What's up, hobby vlog day 112. Before I get into painting our boy, I'm gonna once again steal an idea from Trent Miscast. And every week this year, I want to paint a monster out of Dolmenwood monster book. So I probably have to 3D print this, so that's why I'm doing it now, just so when I finish him, he'll be ready to go. So what I'm gonna do is I got these really cool, really strange dice for Christmas from my mom, actually. She said, I know you like that kind of thing. They have, like, they're actually very high quality resin. And then there's like these little dragons in them. And there's not just one kind of dragon, like there's a different dragon on every face. And this glitter material inside moves. So this is like something this is something I never would have bought for myself, but it's really cool to see and play with. Since I dropped this one, you can see, and I don't know how like accurately or fairly they roll, but we're gonna use them to pick a page, and I gotta see how many pages there are as we start pulling. So let's see what our first monster is gonna be. 23. And these dice are like really cool. I don't think if you can still see them moving. It's pretty neat. All right, so 23. Let's see what our first monster is. And if I don't have to 3D print it, I definitely won't, but I'm just assuming I'll probably have to. So monster 23 is a Breggle, a short-horned Breggle. Oh, you know what? Instead of having to build something, I just remember that there's a short-horned Breggle in the official kit. So boom, this is the next one up for this weekend. For some actual painting, we're gonna do the wash. We're gonna make our own wash. Our newest all-time favorite paint, brownish decay, occultist cloak. I'm just gonna kind of wing this. I haven't tested this, so you're gonna watch it live. All right, here we go. So we're gonna do, this is for our silver. So we're gonna start on the foot because if it's too terrible, we'll be able to work it off. But no, I think we're pretty good on the money here. So we wanna make sure it doesn't pull up. Pretty easy to do. Here I'm just being a little careful because I don't want a ton on the green. Okay, trusty bottle lid. For the gold, we're gonna do purple and red. So this is also, we might just need the purplish red. So let me start with this. And now that I've seen the consistency of the wash, I might not even put, I might put like literally just some droplets in there that are already in there. Like 2 drops of water. And let's see, just test it here. Maybe we need a little bit more water. All right, there we go. Where it can't be seen in case it's too crazy. But I think we're gonna be good. Oh yeah, definitely fine. Okay. So I washed the golds with like a purplish red color because it really kind of makes it look like rich. I don't really know how else to describe it. So again, we want it to pool in these little holes, but we don't want it to pool on the surface. So you can kind of already see it's hard to get those true metallic metals on camera well, because my lights are just so bright so I can see what I'm doing. So again, just coming in. I'm making sure it collects in the holes, but not on the surface here. Because on the surface, we want to be calm and steady. Make sure we get our pommel here. Yeah, and I don't think we'll need that periwinkle purple actually. But I might still just do it in the shadows to test it out. Let me hit this before we get to, and really on this mask, because there's so many tiny details to catch on this mask. And I'm gonna work the wash up towards that front and then down into the bottom, but I'm gonna keep the wash away from the the center line of that faceplate. And this side of the head printed pretty gnarly. I didn't catch that when I was building it, but I've got a second one printed already. So I don't think I probably won't be playing 2 Toros, but I printed 2 just in case. because it seemed like the only one I would be tempted to play 2 of. You know? So see, I'm gonna, hopefully, let me zoom in so you can see real quick. So there's a little bit of wash on the brush, and I'm working it up towards the center highlight, or towards the center of this mask, but I'm keeping that mask the center mask wash free. Looks pretty sick. We're gonna be very careful and hit the top of it. And that's really just because we want this to settle down into the eye mask, because we're gonna make some glowing eyes later, and that'll just add more shadow in. So boom, this is how much wash I wanted to make for the silver. I'm gonna ended up wasting a bunch of paint of the other 2, and these shoulders, these shoulders draw the eye a lot. So again, I'm putting my my brush at the brightest point of the shoulder, and then I'm pulling the wash down into the shadows, and that way it keeps a brightness. So see how the effect of like it's going into the cracks and stuff, but this part right here is still pretty bright. The other side is like shiny all the way through, and now this side has more of that like contrast in it. So it's, again, not a big deal. We'll just go back over it with our correct mix. And see, that looks so much better with like the wash. Like the wash really does so much work with the gold. And same like how before I had the part we painted gold, I'm just going back and forth with my brush to get the wash out of that area and push it down into the corners. So you can see, like, this is a really good example. Like this one's got the wash, this one doesn't. Like how much work that wash does for us. The reds and the purples. All right, cool. So I'm gonna let this guy dry, see where we're at. I think on the silvers, I might need to go back over it without as much of a watered down wash, just because it didn't do it quite as much, change quite as much as I wanted it to. But I'm gonna let all this dry. I'm gonna paint the gold right here and then wash that. And then we'll be, I washed out that's what it's in. Grim Black, Brownish Decay, favorite paint. All right, we're gonna try this again on the silver. So a little bit of Brownish Decay. Hopefully just a touch of that black, maybe a little bit, touch more. Okay. A drop of water. All right, there we go. I think this is closer to what we actually want for our silver. Maybe just a touch more water. All right, same thing. We're gonna start on the feet in case it's terrible. All right, so this is definitely more of what we're looking for. Even out that transition. I must have had too much paint in there. That's okay. That's not a huge deal. Maybe we'll fix that when we're doing highlights. Oh, that's probably exactly what happened. It probably just ran right down this. Yep, that's exactly what it did. That was silly. Put too much paint when I washed this the first time and it just ran down. So we got to be careful of that. We'll sit here and watch it for a second. That's okay. We'll fix that when we highlight it. It's not like a huge problem. So now we'll hit here again, hit there, hit our hands. Yeah, this is doing a much better job of what I wanted. And with the silver, we can actually take it pretty dark because it's going to come back to life with the highlight. We just really wanted to get up into the cracks to really get, like, darken this down. So this is going to be much better for us. Just quick swipes. Sure we're getting in the pistons. And oh, I definitely want to get in here. Up in there. Okay. And we're just moving slow. You don't want to like put a bunch of paint on it because what'll make it look like ass very quickly is if you watermark it and coffee stain it. And the way you avoid coffee stains is you just go slow And I say I go slow as I'm slapping this paint around, but I'm going back to that initial deposit of paint, and that's where I'm using to wash the rest of the model. And there we go. Now you can, a lot more of the browns are coming through, and it's a lot darker on this like boiler thing. Sure, get the nuts. Always wash the nuts. Okay, cool. So now we're washed. We're looking nice and grimy back there. I don't want to be grim dark, right? Like, I don't want it to be grim dark. I just want it to look like a dirty boiler. I washed the gold. I got to wash the shoulders. I was doing this while the shoulders dried out. That's good. And I think we're still probably hit pigment powders on the top of these smokestacks. Back into highlight. Oh God, you see all that? That's exactly what I said not to do. Ooh, that's brutal. All right, let me get fresh water. Okay, so actually, instead of thinking, I'm just gonna keep painting because the wash on the gold dried, and I saw that paint in my palette. Man, the wash went crazy on the legs. Geez, I guess I was nowhere near as careful as I thought I was. We got a lot of water, coffee staining on the legs. Okay, so what? That's okay. We'll figure it out. This painting, I'm painting these edges now. And this is this top light gold, the same gold we started with. And it's hitting the bottoms. And that's where the light's gonna catch. And then just a little bit in here. And then same thing over here. Okay, so this is that part where I was talking, like we're just kind of coming in and painting like scratch style, like cross hatches. And then we'll hit this edge, the side of that edge right there. And then this really adds so much to it. Just want to hit this corner here where all the light comes in, and then down that hard edge right there by the crack, the top of that edge. Same thing. And to do these edge highlights, I'm getting paint on the brush, and then when I drag it down my thumb like this, it puts the paint on the side of the brush, and that's what makes it so I can just kind of come right here. I'm using the side of the brush for those edge highlights, and this has got to get washed out. There we go. And so again, just using the side of the brush. And then we'll come in here and we'll paint just this middle part that's going to be the brightest. Oops. Boom. All right, then we just have these side panels. Same thing, edge highlight this raised section. Just do a little bit in the middle here. And paint the bottoms of all the holes. Okay, so real quick, I highlighted the silver, pretty much same concept as the gold. So just that way all the metals are just done now. Very happy with how the metals turned out. And it's hard to actually like get it fully on camera. But I think they turned out pretty good. Silvers are pretty good. I'm gonna do a little bit more work on the shield, probably. And I need to paint the gauges, but there we go. So I need to do a final highlight on the gold, which will be silver, but I will do that one after the matte. So now it's on to the black and the green. What I think is probably a crazy idea. So these are our 3 colors from the airbrush workup. I'm gonna take this, actually, you know what? So this is our mid-tone, just straight mid-tone by itself. And then Tyrian Navy, little dot of it. What I'm gonna do is just mix
Get a little bit of that, a little bit more of that to brighten it back up some. Let me see what we're working with. That's too dark. I'm just gonna paint over this whole thing on the whole side section with this mid-tone here. And it's gonna not be as good. There's a bubble or something right there. Okay, so same thing, we're gonna have to paint this other side to make it look like it was intentional. And we'll touch up the black. Okay, but see what we've done is we're just kind of making it look like we wanted that transition to be there. And so now it, like I said, it doesn't look as good as our airbrush transition. And I want to let this dry because I don't want to get too crazy. And I actually think I probably need, I'm about to just put it right in my drinking cup. I need a little bit more water. Put a little bit more water right here. And now we're in like full glaze territory. And just fucking glaze it. And I really don't want to spend the time to wetland that whole damn thing. Okay, this is gonna be crazy. But this is like mostly just water at this point. Like if you can see my thumb right here. We're just gonna, oh my days, we're just gonna go for it. We're starting from the highest point and just pulling it down into the shadows. And this glaze, I could sit here all day and I could keep doing that. But instead, I'm only gonna do it once or twice. And make sure it doesn't coffee stain. And we're gonna call that a day. So if you look at it super closely, it's pretty janky. But if you don't look at it too close, it looks like it was an intentional transition in a blend right there. And we've kept most of our airbrush work intact. So we'll let this dry, see how bad it is. Okay, it's dry now. And like it doesn't look too bad. I know I get that transition line right there is pretty janky. But I just don't want to spend time to fix it when I could just paint that one back there and not be mad about it. Let's stop playing around and get this guy finished. So here's that side, and now this side. We definitely need to do a little bit more love to that side to get that fixed. But we're gonna work on everything else, and then I'll come back to that. So now I've got off-white, and so the important thing about this, it doesn't have to be this, is it's a warm toned white. And we just need a little bit. And the reason that we're using this is because our speed paints are so transparent that we can't really use them to highlight. One is because they're so transparent, it's not gonna come through. And they're also just so liquidy that it's gonna be hard to get the kind of result that we want. So it's gonna be important that we have clean water. We don't want metal flakes in here. Made sure my brush was nice and washed out. So we'll go ahead and mix this together. And so this white, it's gonna keep our warm tone, but also just highlight up too, right? If we use a brilliant white or a straight white, that coldness, the blue that's in it, would make it look a little weird because this model is pretty warm. So this is where we're coming
coming to, and you can just see like it's going to be very bright, but it's still warm like the rest of our colors. So I can make sure I like how it looks. And again, we're just going to lightly hit our edges, hit our nuts. The top. So coming back in, I've done like all the lower body parts. I did that arm and this arm, and now just coming in on the shield and the stuff that's gonna be a little bit scarier. But I thought this shield's like a great way to kind of show the process of edge highlighting. So see, I'm coming in, like I'm using the belly of the brush, the middle of it, and the first couple of passes, you don't even really see the edge highlight. And I'm just taking my time. I'm actually taking my time, right? I'm not just saying it this time like I did with the wash. And you just very carefully build it up. And you just keep working, right? And like I'm used to doing one color, but if you wanted to do more than one, you see, and like see really like as we get into that transition, having that hard line, like that's what it's like, oh wow, that's a nice paint job. But really like we just airbrushed it, and then we used the belly of our brush to get it on the side. And like same thing here, like that line going down the middle and on the gauntlets, it really like, it just adds so much to it for something that's so simple. We're gonna hit these other guys right here. Probably need a little bit more paint on my brush. And like the biggest thing is like the paint will dry on this brush because there's such little paint on it. So you gotta make sure you're paying attention that you don't have too much. And that's really like with this mess on my hand is I'm making sure the paint on my brush isn't dry. And I'm also making sure that I don't have too much on it, because if you have too much, you'll get a fat edge highlight, and nobody likes that. Like I just did right there. Oh my God. All right, you just use your finger to wipe it off. It's all good. You can see how much more translucent that is. So we're just gonna get a little bit on our brush, and then we're gonna just work this up on the helmet here. And again, we're just starting in a place of shadow and then just pulling the pigment to the top of the head. And there's a lot of paint right there, so I just want to wick it off. All right, and let that dry. And then on these ones, we're gonna do the same thing. We want to kind of glaze it just because of how fine our shading is already here. Because we don't want to wipe out the transition we did from the airbrush work. Maybe try to work that out. I don't know if we're going to be able to. Yeah, that's in there. We might have to add some chipping if we really want to get rid of that. That's okay. All right, so now, boom. I feel like I'm missing something here. Can we fix this? Because we got a little bit over carried away with our wash. That's how we'll fix that. That's why I keep glazing over it and glazing over it until we get till it looks more like shadow style. Now we got to do the black. Okay, so I noticed two things. I'm looking at the official art, and whatever these are not on the official art. So I don't know what color those are or what they're supposed to be, but they're not on the official Toro model, which is interesting. So I don't know. I'll leave those for now. I'll definitely come back and paint them. But a good portion of this black is actually very subtle in how it is highlighted. So I have pastel blue here. And remember, our black is actually Tyrian navy. So it has, whoa, oh, that's not supposed to look like that. What's going on there? So our Tyrian, our black actually has a good amount of blue mix in it. And I don't know, I guess something's going on with that paint. So this is like a grayish color. So that's what we're gonna highlight with. And we're gonna be very careful and very sparing with this, because it would be very easy to mess our whole paint job up if we get overzealous with it.
So I'm gonna check it out. I'm gonna test it on this foot down here, just because I don't actually know if this is what the right color is gonna be. I had some silver right there, so it's kind of a bad judgment. You know, I think that'll work. Where the light's catching, I mean. Boom. Okay, so now we're kind of back into like our glaze territory of where we need to glaze this because it's so much, they're so big. So I just added a bunch of water right here. A little bit more water. Checking the consistency, just again, checking it here. Let's get a lot of that off. And what we're gonna do is just be very careful. And that's actually too bright, I think. And we'll edge highlight this part carefully.
All right, so boom, I think we are done.
No, we gotta do the eyes.
But very happy with how he turned out.
We gotta do the eyes and the base and the sword, but I don't know what I'm gonna do with the sword yet, so I'll probably wait and do that later with the other Toro once I figure it out.
But there we go. Very happy with this one, except for that damn water stain from the wash. We still gotta figure out. I might try to airbrush it again, or just like leave it, you know, because I got another one to paint. Is he perfect? No. And there's a lot that I'm actually pretty critical of, but I just really want to go into this year with the focus of like getting models finished and not letting like the perfect be the enemy of the good. Like that is a perfectly fine and acceptable tabletop model. I think it's actually probably painted to a pretty high standard. Really, just like when you compare it to like Battlefield standard. I think it's gonna look great with all the models on the table. And also I have a second Toro to paint, so I'm definitely gonna now I know the problem areas to keep an eye on and watch out for, so I don't make the same mistakes twice. Day 2 model painted. Need to do the base. Don't worry about the base. I got to figure out how I'm gonna do that. I'll make a tutorial on just the base, and I'll also make a tutorial on the sword when I figure out the sword and the eyes. I don't know. I think I'm leaning towards pink, but I kind of want to like spend a little bit more time thinking on it before I do the eyes too. So technically, it's not like done, but it's done for now until I revisit it when I paint the rest of the army. So thanks for watching. This is day 112. I'll catch you tomorrow. To close it out, I'm sitting here at tabletop level, and damn, that model looks good. So everything that I'm hypercritical of for myself, it just doesn't matter because from the tabletop, it looks amazing. So don't be too harsh of a judge on yourself. Like, it looks great. Don't overthink it. Don't let it stop you from painting is really what I've learned today.